the leader in talk radio on the Internet, right here on K98Talk.com.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method, and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry, or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
All right, folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
Wrong way. Welcome to the place.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
It got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Wow. Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network. Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
It got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
Red State Talk Radio. Conservatism, Red State style.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? America Off the Rails has been declared a conservatives-only safe zone. Only conservatives allowed from this point forward. Any liberal, socialist, butthurt, hippie, tree huggers, please exit the facility immediately. Again, attention please. America Off the Rails is now designated as a conservative safe zone only. All butthurt, tree hugging, hippie, free to be you and me types exit the facility immediately. Thank you.
We will keep this promise to the American people. If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor, period. If you like your health care plan, you will be able to keep your health care plan, period.
This is the most transparent administration in history. Not even a smidgen of corruption.
Fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. What difference at this point does it make?
If you got a business, you didn't build that.
Welcome to the face. Welcome to the face of the new democracy. Don't expect us to admit a mistake. We're paying off election.
Keep on doing what you do, Rick. You're my favorite host.
It's time to hear the truth about America's biggest challenges. You're listening to America Off the Rails with your host, Rick Robinson.
Well, good morning, Red State Talk Radio. This is Rick Robinson. I'm the host of America Off the Rails, and if you're hearing my voice, that means two things. One, it's Sunday on Red State Talk Radio, and two, it is really, really early. So I hope you've got some coffee. I hope you're ready for what I hope is going to be a fun show. I have to admit, I have been really angry lately. I've been in full-blown battle mode on Twitter with the Trump crowd, because at this point they can't seem to understand the fact that I will not vote for Trump. I don't care what they think the consequences are. I don't care what they think it's going to do to the country, because at this point I cannot see a clear, distinct difference between the person that's in the White House now, the Democratic frontrunner, and the Republican frontrunner. So in my estimation, no matter what happens, we will have a continuation of Obama policies and practices, whether it becomes Hillary or Trump that become the nominee. So I have declared never Trump. I did that several months ago, before it was cool, actually. I'm just saying. And then, of course, now we have folks like, I'm sorry, I'm just going to start doing it. The name drop is going to start happening. Wayne Dupree, for those of you who don't know who that is, don't bother, is a supposed conservative pundit and talk show host, and was the award winner for Blogger of the Year at CPAC last year, has now made a public declaration on his Facebook page that anyone who refuses to vote for Trump in his eyes can no longer consider themselves a conservative, and if they're involved in either TV or radio, he's going to go out of his way to get them fired. This is from the guy that just got a judgment for failure to pay a bill at one of the stations that I work for. So take whoever's giving you your advice with a grain of salt. That's all I'm going to say. And that's all I have to say about that guy. Sorry, I usually don't call people out on public and in public forums, but when you're going to put your name out there like that, and you're going to be a total idiot about it, sorry, I'm trying to watch my language, in honor of Primo, because he used to get a little perturbed when conservatives would say things that would not be of appropriate language as far as he was concerned. So at this point, folks, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and actually get into the show. I just had to make you aware of what's going on in conservative circles, because the party's basically imploding upon itself. The Republican frontrunner is a nationalist, not a conservative, and I cannot and will not vote for him. All right, sorry about that. Had somebody poking their head into the booth. Didn't want you to hear a private conversation. All right, so at this point, folks, without further ado, we're moving on with the show. But one of the things that I want to talk about that was actually interesting to me, was actually kind of fun, the other night on Twitter, while I was getting ready to do the show for WNJC, because, you know, a lot of them are sent out and done ahead of time, because I work a full-time job and do about 8 shows a week, plus I produce 4 others. So the other night, we're doing that one, we're getting it prepped up, I get it sent over, and at that point, I had social media pretty much completely shut down. So I get back on Twitter, and I notice that Governor Gary Johnson actually used my hashtag. I started the Make America Sane Again hashtag here about 3-4 months ago, and then just happened to get lucky enough that Never Trump took off around the same time that I was starting to try to use that hashtag. So I started dovetailing Make America Sane Again with Never Trump. And since then, that hashtag has pretty much gone viral on its own. So much so that one of the libertarian candidates for president actually used it on his Twitter timeline. Sorry, I was a little proud of that. Maybe I shouldn't be, it's just a hashtag. But hey, I thought it was kind of cool. But anyway. So back to the whole Trump thing. I'm being called names. I'm being ridiculed. I've had threats. All because I refuse to support Trump. But let me tell you why I refuse to support Trump. It's not like I'm making this stuff up. You've listened to my show over and over again. I've let you hear in his own words the things that he said about the fact that most of the time he honestly aligns more with Democratic policies than conservative policies. I've let you hear the fact that as far as he's concerned, he wants to completely redo the Obamacare situation and not necessarily get rid of it, but supposedly make it better by making it government funded. How is that any different than Bernie Sanders? That's my question. But now, all of these stories are starting to come out. It may be things that maybe folks didn't know about, but did you know in 2004, Donald Trump took money from George Soros to build the Trump Tower? Because I didn't until I started looking. Okay, so let's break this down logically, because at this point, if you really stop and look about it, Soros has his hands pretty much everywhere in politics. So I'm not sure if we're ever going to be able to completely extricate that. But the simple fact of the matter is, he's well inside the Hillary camp, and he's also got tacit, provable ties to the Trump camp. So again, I don't see a difference. And here's the thing, folks. Anytime I start trying to talk about this on Twitter, if you could audibly hear the things that were being said about me on Twitter, they would actually sound a lot like this.
You suck!
Because that's what I get over and over and over again. Because I will not fall into goose step with the supposed conservatives and vote for Donald Trump. Here's my question, and this is just me trying to make you think. Have you really stopped and thought about why it is that so many in the conservative movement that are actually making money off of the conservative movement are so in the bag for Trump? I mean, come on. Have you seen the way that Sean Hannity interviews him? When Donald Trump can't answer a question, Sean Hannity puts the words in his mouth. Have you seen the way they interview him? It's like they're It's as scary as it was on the other side whenever Chris Matthews was making his Tinkles comments about Obama. And it's the exact same phenomenon. It's the exact same kind of movement. These people are voting because they're getting a warm fuzzy over their candidate. And that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing at all. When you're voting with your feelings instead of using your head, there's a problem. This is what conservatives have been trying to tell liberals since the dawn of time. Quit voting with your feelings. Sometimes you have to use logic. Sometimes you have to do things that actually make sense. Supporting someone like Trump, I'm sorry, to me does not make sense. The man is not conservative. He's told you as much. If he thought he had a snowball's chance in doing it, he would have run as a Democrat. But for all of you that are telling me that I need to get in line and I need to vote for Trump, there's something that I guess none of you understand, and this goes for Wayne Dupree, Sean Hannity, and everybody else out there, all of these supposed conservative pundits that apparently don't understand how our electoral process works. Because it doesn't matter who I vote for in my state, because all 77 counties went red last time. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen again. So if Donald Trump is the nominee and I decide to vote Libertarian, which if Donald Trump is the nominee, that is exactly what I'm going to do, just for the record, then it's not going to matter because my state will still go red. I did my part in the primary process, the only point where sometimes my vote matters and sometimes it doesn't. Normally, the process is so locked up by the time we get to Super Tuesday that my vote is basically de facto even in the primary. This was the first time in a long time that my vote actually mattered in a primary. And so did my state's vote. And we voted for Cruz. Pretty handily, I might add. And then a few short weeks later, one of our senators decided to endorse Kasich. Now, for those of you who may not be very familiar with Oklahoma politics, I'm just going to say this. Kasich got 0 votes in my state. 0 votes in my state. And then the senior senator from my state decides that he's going to endorse Kasich. Last I checked, sir, you are the senator for Oklahoma, not the senator for Ohio. If you want to go be the senator for Ohio, by all means, please go do so. You should have followed the will of the people that sent you to D.C. to work for us and made your endorsement for Cruz as your populace greatly wanted you to do. However, the only thing that has come out of this that may be a positive is we are starting to figure out exactly who the nationalists are, which I'm now terming the crazy people, and who the establishment folks are. The other half of the crazy people. Obviously, my senior senator from Oklahoma and apparently the junior senator from Oklahoma are actually establishment. Who knew? So it's time to primary Inhofe. Just saying. If anybody of you are listening from Oklahoma, yes, I just said that. It's time to primary Inhofe. Because when the guy that you send to D.C. does not support or nominate or endorse, the candidate that you overwhelmingly voted for, there's a problem. That means he's not listening to your voice. And I understand that we have a republic. I understand that he has the ability to make his own decisions. But in something like this, there was no decision to be made. Your state overwhelmingly picked a guy, and you nominate the guy that got 0 votes. Or endorse. I'm sorry. I keep saying nominate. I'm sorry. I mean, I could almost understand it if he went the other way and said, hey, Cruz got votes, Trump got quite a few, though, and I think Trump's my guy. That I could almost forgive, because at least then, he was at least on the map. He was at least in the same zip code. Kasich? No, he didn't. There was nothing. I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'm pretty sure it was close to pretty much exactly 0 was the number that he got here in this state. And yet now all of a sudden, Inhofe decides to endorse Kasich. Now, speaking of Kasich, we have a funny bit we'll be doing here probably after the break about Kasich. I have some long-lost audio of Daddy Dearest the Mailman that we're going to be playing. But, so anyway. But speaking of Kasich, okay, I'm not even going to pretend that you listen to the show. I'm not even going to pretend that you know who I am. But for a second, I'm going to be talking to you anyway. Why are you still in this race, sir? You won one state. One. Your home state. Which, except for Marco Rubio, up to now, it's pretty much happened for almost every candidate. But we'll get to him in a little bit, too, because there's a bit of sad news about that guy from what I understand. Sometimes I think I need a longer show. I just realized all the things I usually try to talk about in about 55 minutes, and then I feel like I'm trying to rush through it, but then some of you are like, please, for the love of God, do not do a longer show. And I understand that. I'm just saying. Because most of the time I really don't want to do a longer show either. But so back to Kasich. Why are you still in this race? You won one state. At this point, you're basically telling the country that you are trying for a contested convention because you still think you're going to be the one that gets the nomination. And here's the thing, for all of you that maybe you like Kasich, maybe you think he's the guy because, he's more middle of the road than the other two, which is a true statement. I mean, honestly, at this point, we have Trump, who's left of center. We have Cruz, who's obviously and ideologically right of center. And then we have Kasich, who's basically dead center. But the thing about it is, because Trump is left of center and Cruz is right of center, and they're basically the insurgent candidates, as Hannity tries to call them both, which I think is funny because he keeps all over Twitter talking about how he gives them both equal airtime, which is true. He does have them on the shows about the same amount of time, but the interview styles are completely different. So, but that's a story for another day. Can you tell I'm not real happy with some of the folks that I used to idolize? Some of these people are the reason that I decided to even start doing this. Because I liked what they were doing and I liked what they stood for, and I felt like maybe I could do something to make a difference. And now I'm watching them slowly sell out their principles, all for the sake of being able to chase more money. And that's the same thing that Kasich is doing at this point. He's selling out his principles in the hope that the establishment will rally behind him and make sure that before it's all said and done, he is the nominee before the convention, or after the convention. And that is not what the American people want. Look, I understand that I may not want Trump, but I'm still not saying that the American people shouldn't have a voice. What I'm saying at this point is I don't like any of this that's going on. I don't like the fact that conservative pundits are so concerned about whether they're going to still have a platform to stand on if an actual conservative makes it into the White House for 4 years or 8 years. I'm concerned about the fact that we have an entire group of establishment folks that are rallying behind Kasich because they can't stand the thought of either Cruz or Trump being in the White House. And I'm concerned about the fact that Trump is only chasing this because all he wants is the power that comes with the White House. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. From an actual perspective, if you look at their personality types, there is almost zero difference between Obama, Trump, and Hillary. The only thing that makes Trump more dangerous than the other two combined is he actually understands what the White House is going to bring him in the extent of the power that he will now have access to. And if you think Trump has been bad with things like eminent domain in the private sector, imagine what he's going to do with public sector access to things like eminent domain. Imagine what he's going to do with public access to things like the Patriot Act, now commonly referred to as the Freedom Act. He's already telling the press that he's going to find a way to increase access to 1A violations and make sure that folks that are ridiculing other folks have the ability to be sued instead of being able to stand on First Amendment rights. And I just butchered the crap out of that, but you know what I'm trying to say. So, but this is my point when it comes to Trump, because it's one of the things that I'm really tired of fighting about. It's one of the things that I'm really tired of having to talk about over and over and over again. For all of you that are listening to all of these talking heads that are telling you there's no way that Trump can lose to Hillary, you're not paying attention, because what they're banking on is what happened to them in the last polling cycle doesn't happen again, which is that the polls are completely screwed and skewed. Or maybe they are banking on them being skewed this time, because if you look, there have been 28 individual polls that have put Clinton and Trump toe-to-toe. Trump loses 24 out of 28 times based on those polls. I wonder why that is. Especially when he's starting to get all of these really big numbers. But what nobody's taking into account is the states where he gets really big numbers, where he gets over that 30, 35, 40% where he's kind of been stuck, they're the open primary states. They're the states where people can cross party lines and vote. At least 30% of his larger numbers in those open primary states have been Democrats crossing the line to vote for Trump. But 45% of that 30%, when asked, have said that when it comes to the general election, they will not be voting for Trump. They're going to go back to voting for Hillary. They're taking a page out of Rush Limbaugh's handbook. Remember in 2008, I think it was, where Rush Limbaugh was telling everybody that was a Republican in open primary to cross over and vote for Obama to make sure that he was the one that got the nomination because they were sure they were going to be able to beat him? How well did that work out? So now their side's doing the exact same thing. We have folks that are crossing the line, voting for a Republican, and then when it comes time to be for the general election, they're going to jump right back again. And if you think that article from 2004 from the Chicago Tribune is not going to start making crazy media cycles during the election, you're nuts. If you think that all of these questionable deals that you know the media knows every detail of at this point, that you know that a lot of politicians know every detail of at this point, if you don't think that all of those guns are going to be brought to bear on one Donald Trump should he be the one to get the nomination, then you're not paying attention to how this process works. It's the same thing they have now done to us for 2 cycles. The media propped up McCain, then they took him apart. The media propped up Romney, then they took him apart. Now, you may think Trump can stand toe-to-toe with him, and maybe he can, but he's the one that threw down the gauntlet this time. McCain was trying to get along with the media. Romney was trying to get along with the media, and they still got eviscerated. Trump has basically told the media, if I'm elected to the White House, your jobs are done if you do not fall in line with me. And if you think that they're going to take that, and they're not going to throw everything they can find at him, then you're deluding yourself. And then you take the fact that about 45% of a good chunk of his numbers, about 50%, I mean, we might as well just say this. So let's do the math the easy way. So 30% are crossover votes, and about 50% of those folks have already told you they're not voting for him. So that's 15% of his voter base gone, going right back over to Hillary. So you need to start paying really close attention to those polls. You know, the polls that first Donald Trump said didn't matter, then they mattered, now they apparently don't matter again, because the same crowd that was making fun of Marco Rubio when he kept telling everybody, don't pay attention to the polls in Florida, they're off, I've got this, it's a lock, and then he got his, I'm sorry, there's no other way to say it, and I'm pretty sure I can say this word here, got his ass handed to him. In his home state. But these same people are looking at polls that give Donald Trump an 82% failure rate and saying that it's wrong. When they're not taking into account the same people are telling them that, yes, I may be voting for him now, but I'm not voting for him come primary time. And I wonder why that is. Because they've had this stuff down to a playbook for a decade. They felt like they were robbed when Bush 43 got the White House in 2000. So they figured out a way to make sure that when they finally got a turn again, they were going to make it work. So they're doing, I mean, it's guerrilla politics at this point. They're doing what they have to do to prop up somebody that they know they can beat. And I'm sorry, no matter how tough Trump is, no matter how much he might like to stand up to them, when it comes time for the general election, he's going to lose. And at this point, I don't know which prospect is more scary to me, if he loses or if he wins. I mean, like I said, there's no difference between him and Hillary Clinton. One is in a dress, one wears a tie. Other than that, they're basically the same person. I mean, and now Donald Trump is all over social media taking shots at Hillary about how she's been corrupt all these years and how she's got all these scandals, and we're all sitting back going, well, wait. You've donated money to her, and you've had her at your wedding, and yet now she's the enemy. I don't understand the concept, folks. I don't understand when the American people became so gullible. I really don't. Because you've got folks like Sean Hannity, Herman Cain, and Michael Savage, who I was actually a bit of a fan of for a while, which is why I thought it was kind of cool when he actually gave me a shout-out that we use. But, he's gone full-on Trump-tard. Trumpanzee. Trump trooper, whatever name you choose. The simple fact of the matter is, these people have lost touch. They have bought into the same hype that they made fun of everybody for in 2008. And again in 2012. Does anybody remember when the Obama, you know, the Barack Hussein Obama and we're gonna spread happiness. Sorry, I don't have the song in front of me, so I'm out of key. But anyway, so those two songs, everybody made fun of those two songs. And then all of a sudden now there's a song about Trump, and it's awesome, it's great, it's huge, he's gonna make America great again. And I just look, it's no different than what's going on with the Supreme Court nomination right now. I'm tired of the hypocrisy on both sides of the aisle. That's what I want to stop. Because when it was their side singing songs about the president and lauding the president to a level higher than he deserved, our side had a fit. Now our side is doing it, their side's having a fit, and most of our side's like, yay, go Trump. No, look, I'm tired of the damn hypocrisy. I really am. I've had it with all of it. It's just like in 2007 when Harry Reid was like, there is no way that we're going to let President Bush, who is about to enter a lame duck portion of his term, make a nomination to the Supreme Court that will influence policy for the next 30 years. Minimum. And now, the shoe's on the other foot, and my party, who were the same ones who were throwing a fit when the Democrats did it to them in 2007, are now doing the exact same thing in 2016. But the interesting thing is, now that the shoe's on the other foot, Harry Reid's talking about how this is unconstitutional and this shouldn't be happening. And so are a lot of Democrats. But here's the thing. It goes back to another problem that liberals seem to have. And I'm not talking JFK-style liberals or classic liberals. I'm talking the new neoliberals that are basically just vegetables. Sorry, there's not a better way to put it. That's not how the Constitution works. The Constitution gives the president the right to nominate whomever he chooses to those positions while he has power. But the Senate can still both give advice or consent on the nomination. At this point, what they are advising him of is the same thing that the Senate advised them of in 2007, that we don't feel that it's right for a candidate who is about, or a president who is about to be out of office at this point, to be able to nominate someone to the Supreme Court that can influence policy for the next 30 years or longer. It was fine when they did it, but now it's unconstitutional. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I'm tired of the hypocrisy on both sides. And at this point, I think my side is honestly playing a very dangerous game. Because while there are issues that I have with the nominee, I think he's more of a middle-of-the-road choice than what I expected Barack Obama to put up. And we're playing a very dangerous game at this point, because we have to ask ourselves, is Hillary going to be the one that finally gets to make the nomination, or is Trump? And in which way, if that happens, are we the most screwed? Just saying. All right, so at this point, I've actually run a little bit long for this segment, so we are going to have to take a break. And when we come back, we will actually have the audio from our long-lost audio for Daddy Dearest for Mr. Kasich, and then we will keep talking about the mess that has become American politics. We'll be right back. All right, folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
Wrong way. Welcome to the place. Welcome.
Red State Talk Radio. Talk radio the way the Founding Fathers would have done it.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000, my heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
Hey folks, Slickery Trigger here. I'd like to take a minute to tell you about Rebel Road Tactical. As a defensive pistol instructor, I've had the opportunity to observe many different holster designs and configurations. And one thing is clear. Many of my students won't carry a pistol. Or worse, they'll carry one without a holster at all. Holster designers aren't making holsters for normal people. It seems that most holsters are either an expensive piece of gear designed for Rambo or a piece that doesn't fit or function the way real people need it to fit and function. So, like any good Texan, I decided to learn to form kydex and design one myself, one that would fit the needs of average people. The result is the Rebel Road Tactical CRT Modular. The CRT stands for Carry, Range, and Training. Its thin and lightweight curved design minimizes printing and is adjustable to fit just right for superior comfort and function. Check us out after the show at rebelroadconcealed.blogspot.com.
Red State Talk Radio. Conservatism, Red State style.
All right, folks, we are back. We are live, and thanks to that long break, we're down to about 20 minutes on this segment. So without further ado, I want to make sure I get to this because I keep teasing everybody with it and then get busy talking and forget to play it. So we're going to make sure it gets played this week. I found some long-lost audio of John Kasich's dad, the mailman. We're going to let that play.
Well, what I can't fathom is how one can drink ice-cold beer in freezing weather.
Cliff, explanation, please.
Now, how do you know he has one?
$5 says he does, 10 says it's a doozy. When the British ruled the Punjab, $10 all the way. They drank steaming hot pots of tea on the hottest days of the year to balance out their inside and outside temperatures. See, conversely, drinking an ice-cold drink on a cold day actually results in a more comfortable body temperature.
All right. Why do you drink ice-cold beer on a hot day?
Mr. Clavin, what else you gonna do with it?
That's right, folks. John Kasich's father, the mailman. Okay, so not really. He really wasn't Cliff Clavin, but who knows? With some of the crazy crap that man has said, it might as well be. Especially the fact that he's staying in the race now that he knows there's no chance he's actually going to get there on his own, and he's hoping the establishment is going to swoop in and make him president. Mr. Kasich, I respected you at one point in time, sir. You actually were a pretty good governor for Ohio until you decided to start doing things that a conservative governor probably shouldn't, like using Obamacare to expand Medicaid. So, you know. All right. So, as promised, there was the long-lost audio of John Kasich's dad. I know, some of you right now sound a lot
You
bitter.
suck!
That's all right. I can take it because, you know, whether you like it or not, some folks do. I've got pretty good numbers, so you know. And I'm not trying to brag. I'm just in a mood. I mean, I have to tell you, I have, like I said at the beginning of the show, I have been basically getting attacked from all angles at this point. And at this point, I'm just going to tell everybody here the same thing that I've been telling everybody else with all of the affiliates in my home network and everything else. I didn't start this to win friends and influence people. I started this in the hopes of actually being able to make a difference. I'm sorry that so many folks that have gotten to a point above where I am right now, because we're just starting to break onto the scene, have gotten to the point where they're now more concerned about their profit than bringing actual information to the American public. I promise you today that if that ever happens to me, I will step down. And for anybody who's wondering, if I actually mean what I say, I got this for you right here.
All I have in this world is my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one. You understand?
Just saying. Now, for all of you that have been all over my Twitter timeline and giving me grief and, you know, making fun of me and calling me names, because there's a reason I do radio, folks. I have a face fit for radio. We are actually going to be starting a TV section soon. I will likely not be a part of that TV section unless it's a panel show, because the last thing y'all want to see for an hour is this face. I'm just saying. But for those of you who are making fun of me based on my appearance, and you're calling me a sellout because I will not vote for Trump, and you're telling me that I'm going to be the one that's putting Hillary in the White House because I won't vote for her, because not voting for Trump is technically a vote for Hillary. Again, as we said earlier, or I said earlier, obviously you don't understand how the actual electoral college process works, Because in my state, it doesn't really matter who I vote for because it's still going to go red. Just saying. But for all of you that are still giving me grief, I have a couple things to say to you as well. First, this one.
My God, are you still talking?
Just please just shut up and go away. Thank you very much. I'm just saying. And then there's this one, because if you keep coming onto my timeline, then I'm going to sound a lot like this guy.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
I'm done hiding. I'm done pulling punches. I'm done trying to be the nice guy when I'm watching my country go to hell. I mean, literally, look at this, folks. We are about to have the choice between a crazy woman in a dress and a crazy guy in a tie. I'm not seeing an upside here. So yes, again, I declared a long time ago that I'm never Trump. I'm also now firmly in the Cruz camp, because Cruz is the only conservative left on the ballot. And I cannot, in good conscience, not try to support someone who's actually a conservative just because the Republican Party has decided that they're going to start kissing every rear end that they think can possibly bring them a win. I'm tired of folks like Herman Cain and Wayne Dupree and Sean Hannity telling me that if I don't vote for Trump, then Hillary wins. Because that is not anything further from the truth. Because the fact that you guys are pushing Trump on everyone, you are the reason that Hillary's going to win. Not me. Because there is no way that he takes the general. It's not going to happen. I said it earlier in the show. He's put a target on his back by telling the media, if I'm president, your careers are done. They will not allow that to happen. And here's the thing. A lot of the folks that are in conservative media, they know that if a conservative becomes president, while the conservatives hold the House and the Senate, a lot of their careers are done. So you really need to start considering the source. I'm not doing this to make money. I have a full-time job. Would I like to do this full-time? Yes. If I can find a way to make that happen and make it to the point where I'm doing more than just breaking even doing all of this, then I would love to do that. But I won't put my desire to make money before my desire to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. And I've seen too many mid-level pundits that are doing that. I've seen too many high-level pundits that have begun doing that. I will not be those guys. I told you when I started this, I started it to make a difference, and by God, that's what I'm going to do. Even if I have to go down swinging, even if the whole country is going up in flames, I'm still going to be the guy standing here with the little flashlight saying, hey guys, we could go this way. This guy can actually do the things that he says he's going to do. And that's the thing that makes me nuts. Cruz is actually the only guy in years to go to D.C. and say, hey, put me there and I'll do X, Y, and Z. And then he does X, Y, and Z. And because he did X, Y, and Z, now the establishment hates him. For all of you that are so up in arms over the establishment, you're supporting a guy who basically gave money to every single side of the establishment since 1988. He's been trying to run for president off and on since 1988. And you're telling me this is the guy that's going to solve everything? This is the guy that's going to save America? No, this is the guy that's going to kill America. He's going to finish the process that Obama started. And at this point, this is why I cannot and I will not vote for either him or Hillary, because no matter which one of them gets in the Oval Office, America's done. Because we'll go full socialist with an egomaniacal woman at the helm just to boot, or we'll go full nationalist with an egomaniacal man at the helm. Either way, the country that I love will be done within probably the next 4 years. So I cannot and will not fall in lockstep with these idiots that want to put a nationalist in the White House. Because I'm sorry, at this point, I would rather have a socialist in the White House than a nationalist. Because socialist policies can be undone when the pendulum swings the other way. If we go nationalist, we ain't coming back. It ain't gonna happen. So some of you that are listening to this show right now, I have not actually cast your vote yet. I'm not telling you who to vote for. I'm asking you to do your own research, to search your own thoughts, your own opinions, and if you are so inclined, to pray about it before you pull the lever for whomever it is that you decide to pull the lever for. Because I cannot and will not, in good conscience, vote for Trump. And I'm telling you this right now. If he is the nominee in November, there are lots of folks with me. And again, it's one of those things where, unfortunately, we're back to it's the devil that we know and the devil that we don't know. I know how Hillary's going to operate, and we will still have control of the Senate and the House. So we have the ability to keep the brakes on and actually try at some point to continue to get conservative governors and conservative senators and conservative congressmen to continue to be able to make things better. But I don't understand why it is that we have this entire now movement of people that are willing to sell out freedom in the hopes of a W, because that is exactly what Trump is going to do. And I understand that in some degrees that's exactly what Hillary's going to do. But again, I understand her brand of crazy. I know how to fight her brand of crazy. I don't know how to fight Trump's brand of crazy. If you do, shoot me an email. Because the one thing that will not happen, even if I have to find a way to hack into a server and do it from a re-education camp, this show ain't going nowhere. Despite what folks like Wayne Dupree want to tell you. Sorry, it's been a really stressful week. Actually, stressful few weeks. You know, we just had probably the most devastating thing happen around here in a long time with the loss of Primo, and I talked about that a little bit last week. Not as much as I probably could have, but again, I really didn't know Primo that well, other than communicating via email. So I didn't want to step on the toes of all these folks that have been working with him for a long time. But I gotta say, it's just hard seeing all of these people that have put themselves on the line to try to reinvigorate the Republican Party, to bring it back from the brink, which at this point it was really close to. And everybody knows it. Nobody's talking about it, but everybody knows it. But I have to tell you at this point, I've been doing this now, not here on Red State, but I've been doing this now in between Facebook pages and articles and the radio shows for about 5 years. I have spent all of that 5 years fighting against the Republican Party, or not the Republican Party, but the Democratic Party. Sorry, at this point you can tell I can honestly really not tell much of a difference. But if I had known that my party was going to put up a frontrunner who was pro-Planned Parenthood, pro-censorship, anti-Second Amendment, and a complete and total ass clown, I don't think I would have spent the last 5 years fighting as hard as I did to try to reinvigorate the Republican Party. To try to show people that there are clear differences between us and the new liberals. Because there are. But they get overshadowed by sound bites and sound clips and 30 seconds of this and 30 seconds of that, and some guy who's basically now even a failed reality TV star who wants to be president. It concerns me greatly that we have come to this point. It concerns me greatly that we now have such a poor attention span that everyone in my country, I'm sorry, I guess I shouldn't say everyone, because he does still have a plurality, so it's not everybody. He hasn't hit majority yet. And that's one of the reasons why I keep getting so mad when I keep seeing folks like Sean Hannity say, I'm going to support the one that has the most delegates, no matter who it is. The most delegates is not a majority. Until we have a clear majority, we do not have a nominee. Until we have a clear majority, I will continue to support Ted Cruz because he is the last true conservative in the fight. If we have a true majority, and it is not Ted Cruz, then I will be changing my party affiliation because I am done with the Republican Party. Because I'm not going to continue to try to build up a party that tells everyone how much conservatism matters to it and how conservatism works to continue to sell their soul to either a moderate or a nationalist just in the hopes of winning an election. And it really is just about that simple, folks. And I understand that some of you do not like what I'm saying. But again, I told you up front, the very first time this show ever aired on Red State, that I'm not going to change who I am just because I'm going to start trying to chase money. We are actively chasing money, and we're finding some. We've gotten placed on a station out of Philadelphia. We're working on getting placed in a station in Texas. I'm working on getting placed in a station in Oklahoma. So at this point, what started as an internet broadcasting company is actually moving into terrestrial broadcasting as well. But I will not change who I am just in the hopes of getting more money. If it dies, fine. It's going to die with me being who I am. If it thrives, fine. It's going to thrive with me being who I am. That's why I hope so many of you listen to me, because we get really good numbers on a lot of the affiliates. Some of them I should be spending more time pushing and talking about. But again, it's not like all I'm building is this single brand. We have a pack of about 4 shows that we shop out all over the place. I actually produce a few of those shows. And I have a full programmed radio station that runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on the internet. So I have a rather full plate. And I'm not saying all of that to toot my own horn. What I'm saying to you is that I appreciate every single one of you that take time out of your day to listen to this show, whether it's on Red State, AMFM247.com, whether it's on WNJC 1360 AM out of Philadelphia, whether it's on K98 Talk, which was our internet flagship when we first launched, or whether it's through some of the podcasting sites that we're on, like FM Player, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iHeart, even iTunes. We're actually the whole station's library is on iTunes right now. You can actually go to iTunes and search K98 Talk. You should find everything that we put out. But we are actually working on getting the show itself listed on both TuneIn and iHeart individually. Now that we have gotten to the point where we have several thousand regular plays, we're hoping that that will help iHeart push it even more, because I've been getting some training on how some of those algorithms work. But that being said, folks, it is about time for me to make my way out of here. I do want to thank everyone for taking the time to hang out with me today on this really early Sunday morning. And I want to thank everybody at Red State, all the folks behind the scenes, for giving me a shot to come hang out every week. Maybe at some point we can talk about getting more of the shows over here. But trust me, I'm sure you're not in a hurry for that. And at this point, really, neither am I. Because like I said, in between the shows I do here and the shows I do elsewhere, I do 8 and 9 a day. Or 8 and 9 a week. God, if I did 8 and 9 a day. Whew. Anyway, can you tell I'm tired? I'm going to get some more coffee. You guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. This is Rick Robinson, or what's left of it. Do we really have to go back to work tomorrow? This is Rick Robinson. I'm the host of America Off the Rails. I'll be back with you next week. Don't go away. And remember, until we meet again, God willing, put down the remote, get off the couch, find a way to get involved. And of course, not having technical issues. So forget it.
By breaking your backs, we're gonna redistribute when we make our pay tax. Hey, sit down.
Screw you guys. I'm going home. Later.
Game over, man. It's game over.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
To get up to like $68,000, my heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Red State Talk Radio. Talk radio the way the Founding Fathers would have done it.